The real story of global culinary tradition can be found in the kitchens of everyday women cooking for their families. So much so that I wrote a book about it, featuring grandmothers from different African countries sharing traditional recipes from their homeland. Now I want to share my take on some of these classic African dishes for you to enjoy. Welcome to Hawa at Home. Hi everyone, I'm Hawa Hassan, and today I'm going to be making a spicy vegetable relish from South Africa. It's called Chakalaka. This is from my cookbook in Bibi's kitchen. It's one of my favorite things to eat, and it reminds me of my time in South Africa. This chakalaka goes well with any protein, any starches that you might have. It can act as a side dish or a main dish. I love to use it in my eggs. I love to use it in my stews. I fell in love with this recipe when I lived there. I used to eat it with what's called pap, and pap is like their cornmeal that is so indigenous to the people there. I lived in South Africa during our winter, which is their summer, and I stayed through their spring. South Africa is geographically the 25th largest country in the world, and it's got about 75 million people. One thing I really enjoyed about the country was the different climates from city to city, plus the diversity of the country. I'm gonna make chakalaka with a grilled cheese sandwich today called braaibroodjies. Braai is a South African barbecue. The grilled cheese is traditionally made on a grill outside because South Africans eat this as a snack during large barbecues. But I'm making it here because that's my business. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and walk us through this recipe, and any minute, this place is going to transport me into Cape Town. I'm gonna get my canola oil. Gonna give 2 tablespoons of this. This recipe comes together rather quickly, but the flavor's built, so we're gonna let it simmer at the end for about 30 minutes. You know, chakalaka is so South African in its name and in the way that it's made. A lot of what makes up a great chakalaka is just vinegar, carrots, cabbage, bell peppers, cumin, turmeric, coriander. Again, very reflective of the Indian Ocean, but in a very South African way. What I learned while being there was that chakalaka had come from the people of Mozambique because they used to go to South Africa to mine. And so it was something that could easily be made and made out of can without having to go bad because of the vinegar in it. I've got a small finely diced red onion. Never have too much of that. A jalapeno, just 1. 2 garlics, and 1 tablespoon of ginger. I'm gonna bring this together until my onions begin to soften, and then I'll continue with the rest of the recipe. Okay, now that my onions are beginning to soften, I'm gonna go ahead and add some of our famous flavors of the Indian Ocean. A lot of these same flavors that you're gonna see here today are used all throughout the African countries that touch the Indian Ocean. It's mind-boggling when you think about the way food traveled up and down the ocean. The hub of the spice trade has to be Tanzania. A lot of its food has traveled from India. They've got a beautiful island called Zanzibar where all spices go to live. That's what I like to say. Nah, they don't go there to die, they go there to flourish. I would also say that Tanzanian people are some of the warmest people. I think that when I think of the way that, from what I've been told, the way that Muslims and Christians celebrate one another, the way that they're in community with each other and how they celebrate each other's holidays has been really inspiring to me, and I look forward to traveling there. I'm gonna do 2 teaspoons of turmeric. And then a teaspoon of cumin. I absolutely love spice markets like this. Not only do you have many different options, but you have the variation of buying a spice whole or powdered. So I really love getting my spices whole, but if I'm in a time crunch, I'll get my coriander from here already ground. I love getting fenugreek from here. Having a fresh spice on hand really does take up the flavor in your foods, so don't be shy. A teaspoon of coriander. Oh, I can't get enough of it. I'll let this toast for a few minutes, and then I'm gonna move on to my cabbage and bell peppers. So this is a highly adaptable recipe. If you don't have green cabbage, you can always substitute a red one, or, you know, I've been known to use also Brussels sprouts. You can even add squash if you want to. It could also be kept in the refrigerator for up to a week, and it's so simple to make. You can eat chakalaka in the same way that you would a chutney or a salsa. You can have it as a full meal, or you can have it on the side of your food. So it's a dish that serves many purposes. It's, you know, you can add beans to it. A lot of them, the people who used to mine, they said that they added beans. While I typically don't use beans in my version, I always try to stock up on lentils and black beans for my friends who love them. Oh, I love lentils. These are an easy protein to put together with a lot of the cooking that I do. If you're making a chakalaka and you need a protein for the side, this is a great, great add-on. I feel like beans are a labor of love, so I love getting mine whole. I soak them, you know, I baby them through the whole process. And so if you can and you have the option, get whole beans. They'll be more flavorful and you'll be thankful in the end. True story. Right before I started cooking this recipe, I had to call my best friend Tanya in South Africa to ask her how to pronounce braaibroodjie. I think that's how she says it. I'm probably still getting it wrong, but I try. I'm gonna turn this down. It's gotten a little too hot. So you can see the golden hue of the turmeric has really brightened this dish. It'll do that in flavor as well. I've got 3 carrots grated. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add my tomatoes, some crushed tomatoes. This is enough to feed a small family for sure. So now that I've got all of my vegetables in the pot, I'm gonna let it simmer for 30 minutes. I'll let my vegetables cook down, and then I'll be back to check on it. In the meantime, I'm gonna straighten up. I lived in Cape Town. I lived in a neighborhood called Llandetno. And I spent a lot of time on Long Street dancing and learning, you know, the way of the land. And I went to what they call braais, which is barbecues. And so I spent a lot of my afternoon at barbecues. South Africans don't need a reason for a barbecue. It doesn't need to be a Sunday. It doesn't need to be a weekend. Like, they're gonna watch what they call sundowners, which is when the sun is setting. They're going to have a cocktail no matter which day of the week is. And they're gonna have a barbecue. And those were a lot of the things that I did there. They've got a robust wine, you know, wineland. So I spent a lot of time in the winelands. I feel like I came of age in South Africa. I'd been like this girl who was living in Brooklyn for 6 years at that time. And when I went there, I felt like the world had opened up to me. So it's been about 30 minutes. My chakalaka should be ready. It's simmering. This is great. It smells wonderful. Yep, it's exactly how I want it to be. I'm gonna go ahead and add 2 tablespoons of vinegar. I'm using white vinegar. If you don't have white vinegar, it's completely fine. You can also use lemon juice. Oh yeah, this is perfect. You can see all the vegetables have wilted down. I'm gonna just turn this off. Cover it. Now I'm gonna start on my favorite part, my grilled cheese sandwich, AKA my braaibroodjie. I'm just using a little mayo. The mayo acts as an oil, so this will cook down. I'm gonna just put our skillet on medium heat. I'm using a non-stick skillet. You use whatever you have at home. So I'm gonna put the mayo side down because that acts like an oil and it'll make sure that my bread cooks evenly, giving it a very golden, crisp. I'm gonna get my cheese. I'm just using white cheddar today. Look at this. I'm also gonna use a few slices of a red onion. My favorite part. All right. Oh, this is perfect. Just put a little chakalaka on top. A few slices of red onion. I'm gonna put another piece of white cheddar on top. And then again, I'm putting my mayo on the outside so that when I turn my bread over, it'll help cook it. Perfect, so my bread looks golden brown. There we go. Perfect. Okay, both sides are golden brown. I'm gonna go ahead and serve myself. Yum. I like a little chakalaka on the side, so I'm gonna give myself a big helping. All right, I'm gonna give it a bite. This is grilled cheese 2.0. There is nothing basic about this dish. It's tangy, it's warm, it's hearty. This is the perfect chakalaka. It's exactly how I remember it from South Africa. The chakalaka serves as a great side to the grilled cheese, but it's also an incredible dish by itself, along with protein. So don't be afraid to personalize it and use it throughout your cooking. Oh, I feel like I'm in South Africa.